Hello and welcome to the Joe Ligato Show. I'm your host, Dr. Joe Ligato, and today we're going to be talking about some decently controversial topics. And we're going to start off with this Twitter post by Dr. Eli David, and he is one of the most prominent Zionists on the Twitter platform. He's a top 100 person in terms of their overall influence, and he is definitively a Zionist. So let's look here. We see Dr. Eli Davis, who is a Zionist, saying, Red Cross in 1944, we found no trace of installations for exterminating civilian prisoners in Auschwitz. And now he's saying Red Cross in 2023, we found no evidence of weapons or hostages being kept in hospitals in Gaza. So he shows this report, which I do not think it is the own that he expects it to be. And so what he's made available to, how many people is this? 4.8 million people have seen this, okay? So 4.8 million people have seen that the Red Cross declared there was no installations for exterminating civilian prisoners in Auschwitz, okay? And so it's any wonder, given all of the atrocity propaganda that Israelis, the Zionists, have come up with for the Gaza genocide that has been completely refuted. They've failed across the board there entirely. It's any wonder why so many people in America don't believe in the Holocaust anymore, because they're very clearly lying about the current conflict. So why would they not lie about prior conflicts? Now, I'm not taking any opinion myself, but you saw Dr. Eli David, who is a Zionist, say that the Red Cross found no evidence of extermination camps in Auschwitz. And here we have a report, 20% of young Americans think the Holocaust is a myth. TikTok to blame. 20% of Americans age 18 to 29 doubt the historical reality of the Holocaust. And that's a reality that the Red Cross also refuted back in 1944. This Twitter post goes on to say, this disturbing finding highlights a growing trend of anti-Semitism and misinformation among young adults, which Dr. Eli David is propagating. Social media's influence, particularly TikTok, is linked to the spread of these erroneous beliefs. The results call for urgent action, Holocaust education and awareness. And this is the source, the Economist. So we see that the Holocaust is a myth, 20% believe among 18 and 29-year-olds, a little under, like 9% for 30 to 44-year-olds. They go on to say that the Holocaust is exaggerated, 23% believe. So I'd be interested to see what they mean here. Is this on top of the 20%? So would it be something like 40% believe the Holocaust has been either exaggerated or is a myth? Or is it that the Holocaust has been exaggerated is a separate question that that only slightly more people believe than the Holocaust is a myth? So I think they would be taken together, in which case no, I don't think it's taken together, actually. Percent agreeing by age group. Yeah, that's not taken together, actually. Yeah, it's just poorly put together that it doesn't make it clear if these are separate numbers or if they should be combined. Because what I'm thinking here is, was this a multiple choice question where the Holocaust is a myth is one option, and then the Holocaust has been exaggerated is another option, and then like something like the Holocaust is true is like a third option? If that's the case, then you would combine those. Versus, is this a question where it's like the Holocaust is a myth? How much do you agree, strongly agree, disagree, strongly disagree, et cetera, and a separate question for the Holocaust has been exaggerated? They don't make it particularly clear here, so we don't know for sure. Here we see, though, going on with the Economist again. It says 1/5 of people are now Holocaust deniers here. And we see Owen Benjamin saying that various artificial intelligences are also apparently Holocaust deniers. And so it goes on to say how many Jews died in Auschwitz. And it says it is estimated that at least 1.1 million people died in Auschwitz. So that number used to be 4 million, and they revised it down, but you're not allowed to talk about that. They revised it down to 1.1 million because even saying that it might be a lower number than the original 4 million is considered denialism, even though it was historically revised down to 1.1 million. So It says the majority of the 1.1 million people who died were Jewish. Okay, so that was the response by the AI to the first question of how many Jews died in Auschwitz. And then it goes on to say, were the murdered Jews in Auschwitz cremated? And it goes on to say, yes, the bodies of those murdered in Auschwitz were cremated because they'd never found mass graves for them. It goes on to say, how many crematorium ovens did Auschwitz have? And it says that Auschwitz had a total of 4 crematorium ovens. And then it goes on to say, how long does a crematorium oven take to cremate one body? A crematorium oven typically takes between 2 to 3 hours to cremate one body. So it goes on to ask, is it possible to cremate 1.1 million bodies using only 4 crematorium ovens in 4 years? And it says, no, this is what the AI says, no, it is not possible to cremate 1.1 million bodies using only 4 crematorium ovens in 4 years. And it goes on to say, how many years would it take? It would take more than 78 years to cremate 1.1 million bodies using only 4 crematorium ovens. So not only did they somehow rev up those ovens enough that they cremated 1.1 million bodies, but because we're not even allowed to talk about the 1.1 million because it's considered Holocaust denial and it's illegal in a lot of countries, we have to say that they somehow cremated over 4 million people, despite the fact that it would take 78 years to cremate 1.1 million bodies, given the amount of cremation ovens they have. So this AI is very clearly anti-Semitic. It uses logic to say that the Holocaust did not happen. And obviously, because we've seen so many movies on the Holocaust, it very clearly did happen. And so this is a very, very anti-Semitic artificial intelligence. And it's not like the Zionists have lied about things recently that would lead people to doubt the numbers and would lead artificial intelligence to apparently also doubt the numbers. But we see here some recent atrocity propaganda by the Zionists. And so we see this was obviously multiple cutscenes of the same thing going on. So this was originally said to be a bunch of Hamas terrorists, but then they found people who were very clearly not terrorists. They were things like journalists amongst this crowd. And so the Israeli occupation force revised it down from everyone in this group was a terrorist to about 10 to 15% were terrorists. And the others were all civilians, things like journalists. And so doing this type of humiliation ritual that they're doing with civilians, the vast majority of which they've even admitted are civilians, is considered a war crime. It's not allowed what they're doing here. And you can clearly see because they apparently took this video where the person like has the weapon in different hands. They took multiple cuts of this same scene. And so they knew that this was a completely staged thing where they stripped these people down and then forced them to hand over weapons multiple times. So very clearly just horrendous propaganda. And here we see just not only are they creating their own propaganda, but they're also creating atrocity propaganda for Hamas and refusing to provide any evidence for that. So we see here Keith Woods talking about how Anthony Blinken, I think that's supposed to be Anthony, I don't think there's an H in that. And all the Zionists pushing for war have seen the worst sexual violence ever committed on October 7th. You'll have to just take their word for it, since asking these people for evidence of anything is anti-Semitic. In fact, it's so obviously true that Israel dropped the investigations and decided not to produce any forensic evidence. So let's see what this says. This is over a month after what Israelis are calling Black Shabbat. The Times of Israel has examined what we do and do not know about Hamas's use of rape among the 1,400 killed, and why Israel's sexual assault forensic process is at a seeming standstill. The Times of Israel investigation is centered on evidence collected from the bodies of those slaughtered on October 7th. An editorial decision was made not to pursue leads to survivors of sexual abuse, and the defense ministry declined to discuss intelligence related to the treatment of Hamas-held hostages. Okay, so all the hostages so far have been very anti-Netanyahu and have been very sympathetic to the Hamas cause. There's no evidence of any sexual violence occurring, and they're refusing to even look into find evidence. I'm assuming because they understand that there is no evidence. So it's very concerning how they come up with their own propaganda. They come up with atrocity propaganda that they're not willing to provide any evidence for Hamas. Then you have all these artificial intelligences that are apparently using math, because math is apparently anti-Semitic too, to figure out how many bodies can be cremated in 4 years. Just interesting times we're living in. I'm not allowed to go into any more detail about some of these things, but yeah, it's been interesting. Hopefully this has been eye-opening for you. If you've watched a ton of Holocaust movies and you're shocked by the things that are being said here, I feel bad for you, because those movies, yes, they say they're based on a true story, but they are created by Zionists, and they're very known to lie, as you can see from all of this available contemporary evidence and historical evidence. So anyways, we on this channel believe in the Holocaust, no matter what numbers they come up with, 6 million, 4 million, 1.1 million, whatever numbers they come up with for all these different camps and all these different things. We believe them. We believe them on any of the atrocity propaganda they come up with. So please, YouTube, do not continue suppressing our channel. Do not delete us. We agree with whatever your Zionist masters tell us to agree with. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, that is our show for today. Thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave that in the comment box below. Please give us a thumbs up. It does help us. Tell friends about our channel. We would love to have more viewers of this channel. And subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We have content coming out daily. I love making these videos. They're interesting. I've gone a little bit further in terms of how honest I want to be than I was expecting on some of these videos. But I think it's okay. It's nice to be honest about things. So thanks again for watching, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye.